Hi, my name's Nathan. This is going to be my rebuttal to debate four, which is the foreign policy, whether or not the United States should still be involved in the Middle East. My view was that we should, so I'm going to be rebutting one of my classmates' thoughts that we should pull out of the Middle East. So to get going, she started off basically by saying that chaos from the Middle East forced us to go. But I personally, there's still chaos. I think there's still chaos. Like all of the proxy warfare going on, everything with ISIS, even though that's on the downhill, there's still chaos, which is why we need to be there to help intervene and help prevent it. The proxy warfare, if we were to pull out, would only get worse. And proxy warfare is basically where two separate states are not at a complete war, but they're fighting different battles in like different states and different places. They're smaller scale, but they're still fighting. Also, we have done a bunch of things to help in the Middle East. An argument was made that we hadn't really had any successful events. But for one, we did take out Osama bin Laden, which, I mean, I guess in the long run, it got bad for a bit with ISIS, but we took out Osama, which helped really get rid of that culture, and we've helped lessen a lot of conflicts and prevent a full-scale war. Going back to proxy warfare, obviously that's still happening, but with us there, it's much less, and it's not a full-scale war. Another thing was an argument was trying to transform entire societies, which, while I do agree with that maybe to a small degree, it's only in states with governments like communism where we're trying to get rid of that. We're not necessarily saying like this is what you have to be and what you have to do. It's basically you just can't be this. We just want to get these states to a point where they can survive, they can have an operating government and don't need our help anymore. Like when we left Iraq in 2011, that's when ISIS really became relevant. And so when we left, they hadn't been capable to survive on their own. They still needed help. And with us leaving, ISIS showed and they really took a step back. So if we leave now, I feel like that would likely happen again. Another thing was ignoring cultural and operational needs was a point made. Again, in some cases, I might agree, but when a state is split, like there's two nations fighting in it, you might have to ignore things to consider your best interest and the safety of you and everyone involved. While we may do it too much sometimes, like if there's a really bad event or it's someone that we really don't like, we may do it, but for the most part, I believe that we do what needs to be done, and it is the best option. And also, you mentioned that we needed to change some things in our approach. While yes, I do agree with that, maybe we do need to change some policies that we have or how we go about some things. Withdrawing from the Middle East would definitely not be the best option. We could do things like, I don't know, give more money or try and I don't even know off the top of my head, but withdrawing is something that should not be considered, because like in Iraq, when we left in 2011, it costed us more money to come back the 3 years later than if we had just stayed. So if we have to if we decide to pull out and then something like ISIS happens again, it would only cost us more money to go back in than what we would have been spending had we just stayed there. So if you consider this, yeah, maybe something doesn't happen, but with everything happening in the Middle East and all of their history, if we were to pull out now, we would have to go back and it would cost us even more money. Just with inflation and having to transport all of our equipment back and then back to the States and then back over there, it would just be a massive fee that is just not worth it. So thank you to whoever I replied to. I really liked your video. You made a lot of great points. This was just my counter argument to him. But yeah, thank you.